how we're gonna end. All right. Hey everybody, welcome to the BentBox Comics YouTube channel. My name is Chris.
My name is John.
Yeah. Back in the saddle again, man.
I'm sorry.
We figured we would start making some content for you guys. We haven't really done that in a while, at least not consistently. We used to do content creation a long time ago, but for a whole different venture. And now that we're in the indie comic space, we really wanted to have some fun and what? Yeah, and have talks and discussions, go over indie stuff, go over updates for our books, for our published books from other content creators or other comic creators, and also just do some shenanigans here and there.
That's right.
That's right.
Chris, who are you?
My name is Chris.
But is that who you are?
That is who I am, according to my birth certificate. But I'm the co-founder of BentBox Comics. This is John, the other part of the co-founder. That's how that works. There's two. I'm good at math. But we started BentBox Comics, 2023? Dude, this is the same way our old podcast went.
It is true.
Which is why I liked it so much. It was fun.
Oh, man.
But we started, I think, 2023?
Yeah, it was.
Well, no, we started before that, but I mean, when we became BentBox Comics, it was
the end of 2023.
Yeah.
I think it was in November, if I remember correct.
Yeah, that's what the legal papers say.
And then we ended up, going into our main ventures of 2024, trying to hit cons and stuff like that.
Yep.
Get our branding out there.
It's been fun. So yeah, 2024 has been basically just cons, constantly hitting the ground, doing boots on the ground marketing.
Yeah.
Getting our book in front of people, which has been a lot of fun. We've had some good reception to it.
There's some stories there, man.
Yeah, I still the
con stories.
The one where I drew the ha 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 on the Joker's chest keeps popping up on my timeline, and that was a fun one. But so you just heard a giggle. That's from our producer. That's from our producer, CJ. CJ, say hi.
Hello.
There he is.
Hi, CJ.
CJ is going to be running the show, kind of.
Kind of.
Cool. All right, there you go. But so I got into comics. This has been reiterated 100 times because I've done a handful of shows or different live streams. But my dad inked for Marvel for a long time. Comics were a huge part of my life when I was young. He bailed from my family, which is super cool. A cool thing to do.
You're better off.
I totally am. But that meant I just dropped comics and got out of comics forever. I hadn't really touched one since I was 5. Actually, no. He left when I was 7, so I haven't really done anything since I was 7. And then John, so our stories intertwine. But then John got into comics before I did.
Technically, actually, we all got into comics at the same time. But then we had families, and we all went our different ways. And I stuck with it, and I ended up, creating my first book. Had no idea what I was doing, like most people, and found out through that process how hard making comics is, right? For sure. You think it's easy. But ended up finding out that all my pages were messed up, and I paid $3,500, which was a lot for me, just married and into the space. But yeah, I got into comics, had a really bad first experience. I didn't give up. Ended up producing Worlds Forgotten that you see behind us, which is a pretty big hit on Global Comics.
It's doing pretty well. It's our top hit on Global Comics, followed by Our Monsters, which is not what I expected.
Oh, it was a good time. We released Our Monsters, which is our horror book, in Halloween, which I believe is what helped that.
That was my goal. I was like, we got to punch this thing out at Halloween, which, it's following just right behind you. But yeah, Worlds Forgotten is our top reader.
And even then, I made a lot of mistakes making that book. I spent way too much money making that book because I had to realize and learn that perfection is actually your enemy. And I ended up changing many pages of that book, so I wasn't happy with what I was doing. So I've learned a lot, and then I made that and produced it, came out with it, and then you were like, hey,
I can do this too,
I can do this too. And
I got ideas.
You created Artificial.
I did.
Yeah.
So I wrote Artificial and partnered up with Gabriel Fonseca. It was his first comic book. If he's blowing up. So he recently, I had a call with him, which this is something we'll do maybe on our next video. We'll have personal project updates.
Yeah.
But I had a call with him where he was at a huge con down in Brazil, and DC commissioned him to do a large Batman banner poster for their booth,
Yeah.
and it was awesome. And so he was over the moon about it. He has merch about it, or merch from it that has his art in it. So he's blowing up. He's doing really well. But yeah, I partnered with him to do Artificial, which was my first book. I learned from John's mistakes, which was great. I appreciate that.
John, what did you do wrong?
Yeah, let me not do that because Artificial took me 4 months and is fine.
Yeah, World's Forgotten took me almost 3 years.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But I'm not because I appreciate it. That helped me get started. So seeing John do World's Forgotten, it looked awesome. I've always had a bit of a creative bent of just like wanting to do story driven anything. Used to do video games as best as I could. So comics was just a way that was easier, more accessible, easier to actually produce something, like get it from your brain to the paper. So much easier to do than like a video game. It's still not easy by any means, but it's just easier. Yeah. So I figured I would take the dive and try as well. So that's when I did Artificial and then Artificial 2. So right now, BentBox is technically so that's our background. BentBox right now is working as a publishing house, an indie small press publishing house for other comic book creators. We have Orium by John Orozco. Sorry if I butcher your last name. Sometimes I always do. I feel like there should be some twang on it, and I don't think there is. And then Jeff Morris is our most recent get, and I say that in earnest because I feel like his book's awesome, and I'm glad that he's on board with us. Yeah. You might actually see some content with Jeff pretty soon because he lives not too far away. But we are, and then I'm currently courting another creator. I really like his book, so I hope I hear.
You say that?
I mean, it's dating. It's courting. Yeah.
He's dating. You're dating.
I'm basically dating some dude.
I'm dating some dude to get him in the business.
Don't tell my wife. But I'm really interested in his pages. But his book looks really cool, and I would love to have him join BentBox. It's been a lot of fun working with other creators, primarily writers at the moment, but we're also working with some artists. But yeah, so we have huge plans for 2025. This is kind of our first video, just an introductory video to BentBox. Kind of talk a little bit about who we are, what our plans are, what we're doing.
So BentBox is very unique in the way that it's two creators, two guys who have been doing comics. I've been doing them for, what's crazy is I've been doing comics for almost 10 years.
Technically.
And we were talking about our books we have done. I don't just have Worlds Forgotten. I've got Worlds Forgotten, Heathen, Blossom, and Wingless.
Last one.
And the last one. So I have 5 titles I've done. Now
that are actually published, not even the ones that are in the works.
Yes, exactly. So I have 5 published, books between 10 years. So 2 a year. With my family situation, and everything. Took a break from comics for a bit, but came back around. So, but we are, we are creators. We've made comic books. You've made comic books, and we decided, hey, let's get into the indie space, and how else can we do that by becoming a publisher and maybe bringing other people on board and growing something. We love the industry so much, and it's not in a very good place, to be honest. No. And how do we make that better? Well, we come together, we make really good quality books. That's something we're about, is making very good quality books, and we try to bring as many people on board that are willing to grow the industry together, not fight and divide it. And if there are those confrontations, we'll figure those out, and we all should have one common goal, and that's growing the industry. A high tide floats all boats, right? So that's what we're trying to do as an industry. I'm sure it's been done before. I'm sure some creators have come out and created something, but we're also friends. We've known each other. We've been together for a long time. So
since camp.
Yeah. So we have chemistry. Yeah. And so that's what is unique about BentBox is we were like, hey, let's build this publishing company off of our books. And so we bought a lot of our books. We went to Comic-Cons.
Yeah.
We sold those books to pay for the Comic-Cons and get the branding done, right?
Yeah.
And, it's not 1-to-1 ratio, of course, but we've done a great job at getting it out there. We've got a lot of things in the works, too. We got creators that are looking at coming on board.
The amount of people who I've talked to where they've asked, all right, well, or I'm in discussions with them, and then they go and look through everything we've done. They're like, how long have you been doing this? And I was like, this long. And they're like, how do you have this much out? I was like, because we're awesome. But I mean, we're just pushing as much as we can. Another thing that I would say is that we right now we're working as a publisher, but we're almost working in a way as a like indie collective is something I was trying to say, to where one of the selling points for some of the people I've been talking to is like, hey, I know as an indie, it's hard to get a book out. 2-3 books a year is almost impossible.
Yeah.
Unless you're really grinding and you have the money, it's very difficult to get that many out. So your name in associated with other books, I think benefits people. So that's why we decided to go this route. And so when I have a book coming out in April, and then I really can't afford to make another book till December, John will have a book out in between in May, and then Jeff Morris will have a book out, and then John with Orium 2 will be out. So it basically allows us to constantly provide books, content continuously to our readers, to our fan base,
And
in
we
a
help
way
each
that
other.
in a way that would be difficult just solo.
Yeah.
And we help each other. We work as
We can share email lists for as a company.
yeah. So as
right?
a company, we sell we share our email list. We'll do editing for each other. We'll do proofreading. All quote unquote pro bono. So because we're basically just helping each other. I want your book to succeed.
Exactly.
I want it to be good, high quality, because the BentBox logo is on the top just as much as I want mine to be. So I don't. Yeah. I want to invest time in your product, in our creators' products as much as I can, because it's kind of our product that we're just all working together. That's kind of the base goal.
What's interesting is because we're starting, right? A lot of publishers, they'll charge a creator a certain fee to, produce their book, and they'll take money. We have not done that.
No.
We are trying to grow the brand, the company, bring in creators who truly care about the industry. And when we get to a point where we feel like we're comfortable and we can start looking at contracts, but we're really here to build the industry. We want to have a great industry. And I mean, it's sad. I was looking at a statistic the other day, and Demon Slayer, the manga, by itself sold more copies than all of American comics by itself. All American comics. That's how niche / I would say almost bad of a state comics are in right now.
Yeah.
So we want to grow the industry we love. That's why we're here, and that's why we created BentBox.
Yeah. So hopefully you'll see a lot of us in 2025 and moving forward. A lot of cool things are in the works, and we'll update you on that in the next video. So for now, we're BentBox Comics. See you next time. Okay, we're going to start that over, because I said we are 5 times.
We are. It's a song.
We are.
BentBox Comics.
Youth of a nation. Dude, I recently re-listened to We Are. It popped on my Pandora. Almost cried. I didn't realize how sad that song is.
Oh, yeah, the school shooting song.
I didn't realize it was about school
You didn't
shooting.
know that?
Or maybe I did and I forgot about it, but like years later, yeah, it popped on and I'm like, okay, this sucks. Please stop singing. Yeah. Can you hand me my hat?
That's it.
I had no idea that was it.
Yeah, it's about school shooting.
I'm over here. We are.
Yep.
Last day of the rest of my life. I wish I would have known because I
That'd
kissed
be
my
bad.
mama goodbye. The first line of the song.
Yeah, I didn't think about that. I was an innocent little boy.
That and so was a Pumped Up Kicks.
I figured first video, let's just talk about who we are. Who we are. Crap, we're gonna have a hard time getting past that. As BentBox Comics.